What is more effective for muscle growth? A full body routine or a split routine? Today we are going to be breaking this down so you can all understand which one is right for you. But before I get into that, like always, let me just really quickly introduce myself. My name is Alphonse. Here we talk about how to maximize your results from your training with as little risk of injury as possible and with as little time spent in the gym. As you obviously can see, I'm far from the biggest guy giving fitness advice on YouTube, but I'm an absolute super mega nerd when it comes to everything about exercise, and I've been completely obsessed with learning as much as I possibly can about it ever since I was 14 years old. And so if you're humble enough to listen to someone like me who isn't absolutely huge, then I could definitely teach you some stuff and help you to make some better progress. But anyways, there are two main things that we want to consider when we are deciding whether we want to use a split routine or whether we want to use a full body routine. The first one is how much exercise we are able to handle in a singular workout. And the second thing is how long it takes for our body to recover from the workout and to produce the increases in strength and size that were stimulated by the workout. As for number one, in our program, not in every workout, but in our program, there is a practical minimum number of exercises that we want to include. We want to include enough exercises so that we are able to effectively work all of the major muscle groups in our body. Now, there are some people who cannot perform more than just a couple of exercises in a workout without becoming extremely fatigued and or also not be able to focus adequately anymore. Now, if you are one of these people who has such low tolerance for exercise that you can't handle more than just a couple of exercises in a workout without these things that I just mentioned happening to you, then in order to be able to effectively work everything, you might need to split things up and work different muscle groups on different workouts so you don't have to perform so much exercise each workout like you maybe would have to if you were using a full body routine. Now, as for the second thing that I mentioned, that being how long it takes for your body to recover from and to produce the increases in strength and size stimulated by the workout, you want to allow enough time in between working any particular muscle group so that it is able to fully recover from and produce the increases in strength and size that were stimulated by the previous workout. And if you train any particular muscle group more frequently than it is able to recover from and adapt to, then it will not grow. As a matter of fact, it will probably get weaker. You will lose strength and size in that muscle group. And by the way, I just want to mention, how long a particular muscle group takes to fully recover is going to depend on your genetics. It's not about big muscle group recovers slowly, small muscle group recovers quickly like some people say. No, it's going to mainly depend on your genetics. Like for example, for me, my legs, my hamstrings, my quads, some of the biggest muscle groups in your body, right? Well, for me, those are some of my fastest recovering muscle groups. My legs are my best muscle groups. They recover the quickest, they respond the best to training, and that is because of my genetics. On the other hand, my upper body does not respond as well to training, and in my experience needs more time in between each time I work it for it to be able to fully recover and adapt. And so again, it's not about big muscle group recovers slowly, small muscle group recovers quickly like some people say, it's about your genetics. And so you're going to have to find out how long a particular muscle group takes to recover for you. Now, there are some people who recover extremely slowly. They need anywhere from 10 to 14 days or even more in between workouts, at least for a particular muscle group to be able to fully recover and adapt. Now, in that case, if you happen to be one of those people, then you might also want to split things up so you can allow more recovery for those muscle groups that take that long to recover, and so you don't have to work out, let's say, only once or twice a month like you maybe would have to do if you were using a full body routine in this situation. And by the way, when I'm talking about people who take this long to recover, I don't want you to think that it's a common thing. No, this is very, very uncommon. But just like there's people who recover extremely quickly, there's also other people on the other side of the spectrum who also recover very, very slowly, and these people do exist. And when it comes to dividing up your body into a split routine, in most cases, just dividing your body up into a upper and lower body workout is going to be enough. But if someone needs needs, 2 to 3 weeks or more in between each workout for everything to be able to fully recover and adapt, then you might want to split it up a little further into a push-pull legs. And by the way, when it comes to all of the splits that exist out there, the ones that make the most sense are upper, lower, and push-pull legs. And this is because these have the least amount of overlap between muscle groups between the different workouts. But if you're using a routine like, for example, a chest, back, shoulders and arms and legs like some people do, then in that routine there's a lot of overlap, because when you're working your chest and back, it's also, at least if you're doing compound pushing and pulling movements, and even if you're not doing that, it's impossible to separate working the shoulders from working the chest and the back. And if you're doing compound pushing and pulling movements, well then you're also effectively working your arms in that workout. And so if you're trying to just work your chest and back in that workout and then work your shoulders and arms in another workout, well then if you're trying to let your shoulders and arms recover in the chest and back workouts, you're not doing that very well, because you're also working your shoulders and arms in that workout as well if you're doing that routine. And so there's a lot of overlap in that split, which is why it's not a very good split. But an upper lower split and a push-pull leg split have very minimal overlap in muscle groups being worked between the workouts, and so that's why they make the most sense. And also, by the way, if you're using a split routine, whatever kind of split you're using, I would recommend you pair your abdominal and lower back exercises with your leg workout, because it's almost impossible to separate those muscles from being worked when you're also working your legs. But either way, with all that being said, in most cases you should still always start with a full body routine and then just reduce the volume of the full body workouts if you're finding that you're not recovering in between your workouts before you go to a split. And if you aren't someone who needs 10 to 14 days in between each workout or more for everything to be able to fully recover, or if you also aren't someone who can only perform just a couple of exercises in a workout without becoming extremely fatigued and no longer be able to focus, then you should just use a full body routine, because you shouldn't split your body up into different workouts unless you actually need to. And if you do split things up, then you shouldn't split things up any more than you need to. Now, if you have any questions, like I suspect some of you might have, about how you would design a workout routine for yourself, then I refer you to this video. It's the first part of my 2-part series in my full guide to how to design your own workout program series. Part 2 is going to be linked in the part 1 video, and the part 1 video is going to be linked down in the description. So if you have any questions about that, then you're going to find all the answers you need in that video. But anyways guys, that's all for this video. I really hope you guys liked it, and I really hope you guys found it useful. If you found this video at least a little bit useful, then please don't forget to at least like this video. And if you want to see more videos like this from me in the future with more useful fitness tips, then also don't forget to click that subscribe and ring that notification bell so you can be notified the next time I upload. But with that being said, like always, I see you guys in the next video next time. Peace.